everybody. Welcome back to Sarah's Table. Pew, 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 pew. We're both very tired today.
It's early.
It's going to be a very relaxed sort of stream today. Hi, everybody. My name is Sarah Moore. My pronouns are she, her. I'm going to be your host today and your favorite person. I'm going to remind you to have some water because everyone is dehydrated. Delightful. The snack you need to live. We're going to do a session 0 today of a game called Passport. It is by, I was doing my little notes. Like, I always like to announce who has written the game that I am playing today. It's a very short game. It's part of You and I, which is the same collection of two-person RPGs that I used last week with Becca Godsey. And this one is by Tobias Strauss. And at the beginning of it, it says it is by Stephanie Brant. And at the end of it, and that's only a couple pages later, it says it is by Stephanie Bryant. And so I don't know which one it is, but there's a typo in there somewhere, friends. I want the right person to be credited. It is definitely Stephanie. It's a great game. I'm really excited about it, but I don't know what your last name is. I'm so sorry. But this is a two-person RPG. So I'm going to let Damon introduce himself a little bit later. Don't talk yet. It's not your time. Shh. Because I want to do a quick safety discussion. That's really important, even though there's only two of us. I also want you at home to know what you are getting into. As always, here on Sarah's Table, you will never find sexual violence, violence against children, or withholding food as punishment or starvation. Damon doesn't really have any lines when it comes to games. And so I don't have to add anything in for him. What a great segue. Why don't you tell me who you are?
Fantastic. Hello, my name is Damon Vanhee. My pronouns are he, him, and I am the second player today in this two-person shenanigan.
Shenanigans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So for folks who might not know who you are, how did you find yourself here on Sarah's Table?
Oh, well, I have been on Sarah's Table a number of times because the owner of said table, you, and I go way back. And we made a game together that is so close to being printed. So very close. Yeah. That's why I'm here. And then you were like, show up at this time and we're going to play a game. And so I did.
Yeah.
And we are.
Yeah. It's going to be great. So this is definitely serving as a pretty elaborate session 0 because the structure of the game is different than a normal RPG in that it requires all of the turns happen very separately from each other, and then you mail the game to the other person, and then they take their turn, and then they mail it back. And so this is
in the post.
In the post, yeah. You know, they say that you can do, if that is prohibitive in some way, that you can do it in a digital format, but I think it takes away a little bit of the charm of the game, of like having it physically written and getting able to like receive this letter from the other person. So let's build our characters. Let's build our stuff. The intro to the game is only a couple sentences. We know each other very well, you and I. Perhaps we are family or lovers, friends or comrades. Regardless, we will be apart for a very long time. To communicate, we will write to each other in a shared notebook and learn of each other's tribulations from afar. And that is the entire premise of the game. So I went and bought a notebook. I cryptically texted Damon lavender or celestial, just with no other explanation.
I thought you were talking about tea when I got that text.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Could have been.
Could have been.
Um, I wasn't. I was talking about the notebook. And so he chose lavender, and I bought a notebook that has like a little lavender sprig on the front. And that you need that, and you need index cards, because there are some prompts that you write at the end of your particular letter that the other person will be responding to, that if you wrote in the notebook would take away from the fact that you want it to look like letters in there. But you can also do things like add in like if you're talking about a thing that happened to you and you have a photo, or if you are artistically inclined. I am not, but you could sketch a thing in there. Or you could add in like like movie stubs or theater tickets, or just like little things that you can tape into the thing to make it something that you would send in a letter. And so I'm excited to see like where we take this. We have some questions to answer. We have to create each of our characters, and then how we are connected to each other and why we are separated.
Okay.
I feel like we should start with why we're separated. It's technically the last in the list, but there are some of the suggestions that feel like it would very much adjust the answers to the previous questions.
Okay.
Okay. Here are some suggestions to get you started. It says, feel free to mix, match, modify, come up with your own. But we could be students or teachers at different schools. One of us is going on a very long journey, like an expedition to Mars or exploring the Amazon jungle, something like that. One of us is incarcerated. One of us is an immigrant writing to their family back home. One of us lives in a parallel dimension or timeline, like the lake house. I got to that last one and was like, well, that would change a lot of the answers in the first part.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So one of those like calls to you, or if there's a jumping off point that you're interested in seeing?
I think the lake house is dope.
Yeah, it's very cool.
I like the thought of being separated by dimension or time or something like that, like a big separation.
Yeah, huge separation.
Yeah.
I feel like of all of those, aside from maybe Expedition to Mars, that's
also good.
The biggest separation. I'm down with that. I love having the dimensional time thing. So, okay. So many notes. Here's the question I have then about that. Is it the same place at different times, or is it the same time in different places?
I think if it's in the same place, it could even be the same, like if it's different dimensions, for example, we could be in the same place where those two touch.
Yeah.
But I don't think it should be in the same plane of existence, different locations.
Okay. So like,
did that make sense? I don't know if it made sense. It sounded gibberish when I was saying it.
No, I speak Damon. So
great.
So you're saying like, instead of like the lake house, I think is the same physical location, and each of them are in different times on the same plane.
Yeah.
So you don't want that. You think different dimensions, but in the same physical location, but in different dimensions.
Yeah, I don't know what I said. Let me start over.
Okay. Well, I thought I spoke Damon.
Hello, my name is Damon Vanhee. My pronouns are he, him, and I am the second player in this shenanigan.
We're back.
And we're back. So I think I think I like different dimensions more than separated by time.
Okay, great. Different dimensions.
But I am open to thoughts on that
No, no,
because I
I
could be
like that.
swayed. Do I have a dinosaur mailbox? Like how big of a time difference?
I mean, you can have a dinosaur mailbox at any time. You,
Dinosaur time mailbox though.
oh, I see. Got it. My bad. Um,
This is my first cup of coffee. I'm very sorry.
which is funny because this is streaming at 7 p.m. So,
Well, between now and when it streams, I will probably have had more. So I
so
will
many
try
more.
and be awake for the stream.
This feels good.
Oh, boy.
Parallel dimension, Damon is definitely awake.
Here we go.
Um, so we are in different dimensions, and our dimensions overlap at that one point. Where is the point? Where can we leave the notebook?
Well, I think it would be potentially different for each of us, but it would be the same
Same.
space.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right.
So like could be like hidden in a rock wall and then, pulled out of a bread box or something like that.
Would be
As a
very.
for instance.
It would be more confusing for the person opening the bread box, I think, because you might just be going in there for bread, and then you're like, notebook. All right. Well, okay. Let's back up before we solidify
Okay.
the spot for the notebook. Who are we?
Who are we to each other or in general?
In general, let's start with who are we in general?
I would like to be a witch.
So, art imitating life is what I'm hearing.
I'm gonna go with that.
Okay. Are you, what are your pronouns?
He, him.
Okay. And like, how old are you?
I want to hear more of your answers first, though.
Oh, no.
Well, because
Okay.
why? No, never mind. Maybe I'll just do all of mine first.
No, whatever you want to do. We can figure that out.
I'm going to be in my late 60s.
Oh,
I will be 67 years old.
and are you on Earth?
Yes.
So we are parallel dimensions of Earth. Are you on like today's Earth?
I think if this were going to be done in like sliders terms, yes, today's Earth, but just like a slightly witchier one. Just
Okay.
a bit.
Just a touch. Just like dial it
Yeah.
up a little bit.
Yeah. Just
Okay.
like apothecaries instead of pharmacies kind of thing.
Got it. And is it present day for you? What time period are you in?
I think present day.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where on Earth do you live?
I mean, I will keep it simple and I will live in Seattle, which is where I in fact live.
Now everybody knows.
Everybody knows. I've said it before.
Oh no.
Oh no.
It's very funny that you specified that it would be Earth but witchier, and then you were like, "I live in Seattle," which feels like Earth but witchier.
I mean a little bit.
Okay. So I am I kind of like the idea of telling a story that is later in life.
Mhm.
really like, I think that's really interesting. Like, that's stories that tend to get overlooked a lot,
Yeah.
especially in like RPGs and in like adventuring stories, right? Like everybody's like, I am in the prime of my physical existence and I'm going to
Yeah.
be, you know, super, super young and hot is basically what everybody chooses. Um, I kind of love the idea of being in like my late 50s or early 60s.
Mhm.
Maybe I'm like 62 or 63. Um, I think my dimension is Earth-like,
Mhm.
but I don't think it is exactly Earth. I think I would love to have this be sort of on the more fantasy end of it.
Mhm.
Like, I think I think she's like a retired adventurer.
Mm.
Like
So so
she
pretty fantasy on and
yeah,
it.
I
Yeah.
think she made it all the way through and like used to be an adventurer and like go out and do a bunch of stuff and like has earned rest and things, but I think she also like kind of doesn't know who she is anymore because that's what defined her and that's what she thought
Hmm.
she assumed that that would kill her, right? Like she's going
Hmm.
to go out in a blaze of glory fighting a dragon or something and like that didn't happen and then she got to the point where she was just like, well, I guess I could retire. What do I do with myself? Um so I kind of that I hope this doesn't feel like I'm trying to shoehorn it in, but that's a story that has been, I think, just like rattling around in there, that like
Yeah.
concept for so long that, and I never really felt like I had a place that I could like put it out. So this actually feels really interesting to be able to do and like
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. Um, I don't think that, I mean, I think there is magic in her world, but I don't think
Okay.
she is a magic practitioner. Like I think she's
Like a bruiser.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think she was like a tank, you know, like she was like a barbarian of some kind. Um,
So what's the time that you're like what year is it for you? Is it present day but just the tech is different or is it like medieval time or does that even matter if the tech is different enough?
yeah, I feel like there are some tech luxuries, like sort of borrowing from like the legends and lattes sort of universe where like they have like some tech and some coffee shops and stuff, but like
Hmm.
it's really just like a bunch of high fantasy. So there's still like lanterns outside to light things, but like,
Yeah.
you know, you have like stoves and things that you can use for some like indoor plumbing kind of things, but it's like, you know, it's just a little bit different. So I don't know. I mean, I guess it is present day in her dimension, but like I don't think that means anything because I would argue, and I can take the time to come up with that as I'm doing this first entry, but like
Hmm.
I don't think they measure it in a way that like it is measured here, right? Like I
Yeah,
couldn't be like, well, it's
totally.
like 1928 because like that's just like not a thing that they do, I think.
I like that.
I like that I wrote present day, whatever that means, question mark. Real good. Okie dokie. Um, so who are we to each other?
Is this a thing that is known when we start? I mean, I know it's one of the questions. That was my question about the question.
Sure. I think it can be if we want it to be. Um, or or we can discover it at the beginning. It just sort of means, I think. So the prompt essentially for the very first gameplay, which we can choose to change, is like tell the other tell the other character why you miss them, like how much you miss them, and that like
I see. Okay.
things are going well, but I miss you. So like I don't know if this is a thing. This could have been going on for years and years before we even get to the notebook. Like and it could have been like scraps of paper from when we were children or whatever. Or it could be the very first time that somebody's just like, is anyone out there? And then we can, put it in.
I personally, I always really love playing with the concept of like anytime I play a game and one of the characters conjures or summons something, that something in theory has a life somewhere. It's like doing stuff and hanging out until it gets conjured by a group of plucky adventurers or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it is dismissed, hopefully, instead of,
maybe
fodder. Who knows? But I think it would be kind of neat since you come from a particularly fantastical world with magic and stuff that I could have been summoned accidentally on purpose, just, whatever. But that is where we met.
Okay.
Whether you did the summoning or probably someone you were with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like the idea.
What else you got?
No, I like that. I'm building on it.
Okay.
I like the idea of like then this relationship has been going on for like 20 years.
Yeah,
like
easily.
Like years ago when we started, when I was an adventurer in my prime doing stuff, probably traveled with a party, and they would summon an entity for like advice or magical assistance of some kind, and it was you. And like the idea that like in my dotage, right? Like I bet my body's probably super messed up. I'm probably not great anymore. Like, I mean, like obviously I'm not dying, but like I think a lot of things hurt. I probably have a lot of scars and I have a lot of injuries and stuff. And like I'm not going out anymore. And I think there's been a lot of like dropping off of people visiting kind of a thing. I think probably I did not take the time to like have children. So it's not like I would have had a lot of family that would come in and see me. And I think I love the idea of like, what happened to that thing that we would summon? Because I'm betting it was just a voice. Like, I don't think I ever saw you. I think I like either heard your voice or like it would come across in like writing. And so the idea that like, do I think it's still out there? I'm kind of lonely, which is a sad idea, but like, maybe you're the only team member that's left.
I like that.
Theoretically, I don't even know if you are, like, and so.
Yeah. That's very cool.
Yeah. So like maybe the very first one, and it'll have to be, I think, with the first, it's a little contrived, but like with that first one, I'm going to maybe tuck in a piece of paper that has me writing on it, like, are you still there? And that you can reply on that paper. And then I'll start my first entry in the book.
Okay. That makes sense. Assume I say yes, because I do.
Because I hope so. Otherwise, this is a very short game.
And we're done. Thanks for tuning in,
It was
everyone.
so good. Yeah. So like, and I think that could be very fun to have like a, this gives me the opportunity to like stain that with tea and like burn the edges and like, I don't know what I'm doing. It's probably, I'm not great with magic. I don't know how to do it. um, uh, so where do you find it on your end?
Mm. Um, I think it's probably a thing that I find in my garden.
Mm.
Um, there's likely a garden that has been very well tended and maintained over the years. One of those gardens that goes right up to the front door.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and there's not any grass in the yard. It's all herbs and plants and clover to stand on and things like that. Um, I think there's probably, I mean, I assume I'm always finding and collecting things to put around in the yard.
Mm-hmm.
You find yourself drawn to something and you bring it home and you give it its proper place, either inside the house or just outside the house on the property. And I think there's probably something out there that either like a stone bench that I maybe find it underneath, just kind of hanging out one day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, or there could also be like if there's a gardener's box out there that's got, you know, gloves and stuff like that. It could be in there as well. If we need a place for it to be inside of, it could be something like that. But I kind of like the idea of just finding it out there.
Yeah, I mean, the idea that it is exposed to the elements on your end, I think could be
Mm-hmm.
cool for the physical book. Like if you are
Mm-hmm.
willing to like get your pages a little wet or like
Yeah.
rub them with dirt or like whatever, like, but also with the idea of like, does that affect the whole thing then? Or like, is it just your pages? Like, I don't know. It's a interesting sort of conundrum of like, does the book exist simultaneously in both places?
Or is it being handed back and
Or
forth?
yeah, or is it being
Mm.
physically like transported? Like, okay, so this is a thing that we can find out now, I guess. We can make that choice. Is it that you have the book and now you can look at it to wait to see when words show up, or does the book
Mm-hmm.
disappear and then you get it back?
I like it disappearing.
Yeah.
I don't know that there is, on my end of things, going to be a particular like I don't think I will have any necessary control over it. I
Mm.
think it might be one of those things where, you just have something in your hands and
Oh,
then
and
you're
then
like,
it's just, where did I put that?
where did I put that? And then it'll just be gone for a while and then I will find it someplace again.
So does it always show up in the same spot for you, or does it just like show up somewhere in your garden?
I think as long as it's on the property, garden or house,
Mm-hmm.
that's acceptable. That's good. I like that. It could also only be outside if we're interested in, kind of like seeing what the elements are going to do to the journal itself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy to, do some of the writing outdoors and leave the book out there for a little. It's gonna get messed up.
Yeah.
It's real
Yeah.
damp here right now.
Yeah. I don't want to like, my only thing about that
Ruin
is,
it.
yeah, I don't
Yeah.
even care if it gets like quote unquote ruined. It doesn't have to stay pretty. I just don't want it to become illegible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I love the idea of the elements affecting it, but I also don't want it to be like, and then a raccoon took it. it's gone now. And we've been playing the game for like 6 months, and it's like, well, it's all finished. We cannot find it anymore. Yeah. So like, yeah, just use your discretion, I guess.
Well, and we also, for what it's worth, we don't have a lot of raccoons around here because of all of the feral cats.
Right. But then there are feral cats, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, but they don't eat books.
They might read books. Have you asked them?
They might read them. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. I haven't asked. I will. I'll ask them.
Thank you. All right. Well, one of the questions is, why are we separated? We determined that. Done it. On my end. So you think I'm summoning the book back?
Yeah,
that's kind of what
likely.
it sounded like.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I am not a magic person, I bet she doesn't know how she's doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's one of those like, I wonder if he wrote in it yet. And then it just like shows up.
So here's a question for your end, potentially.
Yeah.
And this might be one of those questions, I don't know. Where did you get the book?
Oh, where did I get the book?
Is it left over from one of your adventuring buddies?
Yeah, maybe it's another book. I think because I'm the last one, I probably have everybody's stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever was left. And I don't think it was a lot of things. I don't think this was one of those situations where I'm like I'm living comfortably enough, but I don't think that it's like, I have amassed a big fortune, but like, I think I probably have like the Ranger's bow, and I have like, maybe this is like a blank book that the magic user had.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
And perhaps your instructions or help would show up in their previous books. This is a blank book, so
yeah, that's great. I like that.
She's gonna try to use it. Like, are you still here? Yeah. So I think that the book, I think she lives in like pretty modest. I would like to think that she has retired to like a city, so that she's not like, she doesn't want to have to grow her own food, and like, she's tired. So I'm tired. I want to hang out. I just want to relax and enjoy what time I have left. And I think she probably is in like a little apartment, big enough for her. And like, so maybe she's got like a desk, like a with a rolling top, kind of a thing. And then she has since put the book into the desk, and when she goes to answer yours, it's back in its little cubby in the desk.
I like that.
I think that's cool. I also like that it's like, the book is definitely magical, and she just doesn't realize it. Like, she's just like, I don't know. So I also think she probably thinks that you are not a person for a while. Like, I think it's probably
like a ghost or some
ghost
entity or something.
Or she's literally talking to the book. Maybe she just thought that it was always the book that responded,
Yeah, that's good.
So that'll be an interesting thing to discover, that like you are a whole other being with like a life outside of
Yeah.
what's happening. Um, well, this question is written communication our only option for contact, or did we choose this method for our correspondence and why? No, that can't. That's it.
Pass.
Hard pass. Um, okay, so have we ever talked before? Was there ever a time when the magic user was perhaps just like taken out or dying or something that like that you have spoken directly to me before?
I don't think so. I think, well, I mean, maybe this is better if you answer the question. It would take a moment where the spellcaster would still be there, but you would have to engage with writing in the book. And I don't know if that is a thing that would have come up. It seems a personal thing.
Yeah.
But maybe the magic user was pretty casual about that.
No,
but I don't think it was like a middle of combat situation or anything like that. It feels like a slower process.
Okay, so does that mean that when you receive the message, and it's been probably years, like that you think it's the magic user?
Well, this is a new book.
It's a new.
So
sure.
It could be. I mean, my first assumption is probably that it is someone with some sort of magical competence who's reaching out, whether it's the same one from decades ago, or if this is a thing that happens to me all the time.
Is it?
No, I don't think so. I think when I was originally thinking about the whole summoning concept, I was thinking that it would have been super weird for me originally just to have that happen. Almost accidental that it was me instead of an elemental or something like that, so I think it's the more I think about it, the more I think that it's that magic user was the only one.
Okay.
So I probably think it's them.
So like how deep of a relationship did you have with them, and like how long did it last?
I don't think particularly deep.
Okay.
Because they were definitely just calling on me for service.
Right.
Like we weren't friends.
Okay.
But I think it's definitely a thing that the first time it happened, I was probably eager to reply to the book because that's weird. Like absolutely. Like I'm just the type of person who would pick that up and see that and answer
and be like oh, let's see what's
like right away, but I feel like from the magic user's point of view, familiarity isn't sought in this in this relationship. Like it really is just a thing of like I need an answer to this question, give me the answer and then I'm done, know.
So but is it like did you even know their name?
If this was a thing that they called on me multiple times over the years,
absolutely. I think
that at some point I feel like I would have gotten obstinate and wanted some reciprocity, just some information, just to sate my curiosity, if for nothing else.
Yeah.
So probably got their name then.
And they had your name.
Yeah.
Did you give your actual name or did you give like a title? Like did they?
Good question. Probably, I think that they would have addressed me as something first if they were intending to summon something else. And I probably would have rolled with that for a while.
Okay. So what did
but
they?
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that out. We'll have to figure out what they called you.
I'll think on that.
Okay. And then did you know any information about the rest of their team? Like I'm just sort of trying to determine if it was like if over the years, because he called on you multiple times, right? Like that any information could have been pieced together, or if this was like when you are again contacted and it's not them, but like I know about you, like would you also know something about me?
I think the most I would have known was that the magic user was with other people at times. And whether it was those same people over the years, I don't think I would have any way of knowing. But it seems likely that there would be a time of distress that I would be able to piece together, like they're looking for help for another person. But whether that, like, I just don't think that they gave up a lot of details. I don't think that it would seem like a requirement to really give a lot of explanation.
Okay.
And I think if there was ever a time that the magic user spoke of anyone else, it was in a time of emergency. And so I probably wouldn't press the matter.
Okay.
Yeah. And considering like I don't have a way to contact them voluntarily, like it's a response thing, how I'm picturing it. So if there's a moment of panic and then 2 years go by,
sure,
I don't get any follow-up.
Right. So this is maybe sort of helping set the tone for the game, but like what makes you change your mind to like respond in like a relationship-y sort of way? And I don't necessarily mean romantical, but just like like
familial.
Yeah,
or familiar.
Like being able to like even if it's just like we decide it's just friendship or whatever, like there's got to be something that is keeping you revealing parts of your life.
I mean, I think I'm probably solitary. I think you and I might have that in common for this game.
Okay.
And I also think that I'm a curious person, and one who tries to help when it presents itself.
Yeah.
And so I think it was a thing that I knew that I was helping the magic user before, even if it was just answering questions or giving advice on a plant or something like that. Yeah. I knew that it was helpful and in my wheelhouse, and so that feels good. And I think that coupled with a lot of curiosity and maybe some cabin fever, just like being by yourself and having even perceived responsibilities like caring for a home and a garden and things like that means ties you to a place in a way that can sometimes be frustrating. So I think all of that stuff put together it means that this is going to be a form of communication and interaction and socialization. And I think all of those things are appealing. And that's definitely why that I keep replying.
So there are definitely areas of Seattle or the surrounding sprawl that are like pretty rural, like very woods heavy. Like, are you in that section? Are you like?
No, I think I'm definitely closer to the water.
Okay.
Just because I really like it there.
Sure. Yeah.
Beach time is nice. Even when your beaches are, rocks and seaweed.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's totally rural. I'm definitely not in like the heart of Seattle or anything.
Okay.
But suburbs for sure. But close enough to things that it's not a big effort for me to get to various things in the city.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so this is not a thing that we need to include every time. And it's not necessarily like specifically written in there, but like I also really love the idea of us including like little physical objects that like represent stuff that is happening in our story.
Yeah.
Just like the idea of like, I don't know, like I found this shell when I was at the beach and like see if it'll go through with, which I think is cool. I like that. I think that we like are testing the boundaries of how well things work with the transport. Because there is the end of the game, when we decide to end the game, is supposed to be us meeting physically in person again, is basically what it says. But like, because of how we've chosen to build this story, it would definitely not be an again situation. It would be for the first time. And so like, we can maybe start introducing like sending little things like, does this also go through? How far can we push it so that when we're reaching the end of the story that we've decided to tell, we can do do I show up in your garden with the book? Like, do you show up next to my desk? How does that work? I also, with that in mind, maybe it's not a desk, maybe it's like a trunk that I keep it in, like a steamer trunk kind of a thing. Be very startling to roll the desk up and have a person be in it.
Been in here for so long.
Hello. Okay. So many little notes. I am super happy to just let the relationship develop into whatever as we go. Is there like anything that you would like to avoid?
I don't think so. Okay. I think I'm good for whatever direction it meanders.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is there I guess we need to come up with names. Names feel important. Oh, you just got a face.
I can't come up with names fast, but I know we have some time to fill. Maybe I could just like sit quietly and think about it.
Oh, riveting to view.
I should have come with some names prepared.
All right. We can come back to the names.
I'm gonna have to come back to it.
I know.
I can't.
That's totally fine.
I'm not good under pressure like that.
Okay, well then let's have a quick conversation about where we're going to be sharing the entries of this.
Okay.
With the studio audience. They're just here in front of my streaming station. Just people sitting. It's really weird because,
they've been very quiet though.
They've been so quiet.
Yeah.
I did ask them. I asked them to be quiet. I was like, my mic picks up a lot of things. If you could please just
shh. Yeah.
Yeah. So, obviously this is not like they're all written entries, right? So we can't like, I mean, I could stream it, but that feels not super fun to watch if I was just like Just very quietly writing a thing. Just everybody could just hi. So I mean, I think we have a couple of options, and I would love to chat with you about it because you are doing just as much work on this as I am. So I mean, I have a Ko-fi, a coffee,
I'm never going to call it coffee.
Ko-fi. I
Never.
don't know what it is.
I'm going to call it Ko-fi and nothing else.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. So I have one of those. And we could do like photos of each of the thing with a transcript as like a blog post and post them as they come in. This is definitely going to be a slow process, right? Like probably a couple weeks to a month between each one. Yeah. So it's not like, this is going to be a slowly unfurling story. But I also understand that my Ko-fi is linked exclusively to me. And so like we have a game company. Do you want to have it somewhere that could be linked to like what's going on with Formerly Feral? Do we want to make a Ko-fi for that? Do we want to like just have it in a blog situation on the website?
Yeah, I think we can just keep, I mean, there's no reason we can't have it in both. Like we can have it, let's put it on your Ko-fi for now.
Okay.
And then, when it's all put together, we can decide what we want to do with it after that, if it goes anywhere else or if there's any other links or anything, cool. And we can also do, I assume at some point we would have another one of these, another Sarah's Table to discuss the end, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely could do that. We could even like check in every couple of months, depending on how long, like the longevity of this game. I don't know how long we're going to play it. Like maybe this is a big, long campaigny sort of thing. I really like long story arcs. So I don't know.
We'll see everyone in a few years.
This is also a situation where both of us are older. The characters are both older. And even on my end, like my character's done a lot of really hard living, and so probably has a lot of physical things that are wrong with her. This could be we play until that tank is gonna die, like which could potentially be like 30 years game time. Or less, who knows? But one of the things about the game, we're just keep circling around, is that it doesn't have to be the entries don't have to be the exact correspondence to how long it took to get the book. It's not like, okay, cool, my next entry is 3 weeks later because I received it 3 weeks later. It just needs to be after you got it. Like you can't jump backwards in time for an entry. Sure. Like it just needs to go forward. So as we're figuring out our responses and things, like there could be several years even between, or months, or whatever is comfortable for each particular one. Which means that we could tell a story over a couple of decades, should we want to.
I like that.
Hopefully it won't take us a couple of decades.
No promises.
Cool. Love it. Yeah. I think it's going to be good. I'm pretty excited.
Well, yeah, I'm pretty excited.
Uh-oh.
Oh, geez. We're the same person.
Oh,
no. Yeah, this sounds super fun. I'm into it.
Yeah. Beep, 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 beep. So there are some entry ideas that I'm going to run through with you. And I will make sure that you have a copy of these so you don't have to worry about like writing them all down.
Great. Thank
but
you.
there, of course, but there are a couple of like prompts should you be searching for something.
Okay.
Something exciting happened to me and I can't wait to tell you about it. I'm afraid of something. I learned something wonderful today. I have a secret and you're the only person I can share it with. Nothing happened and I'm embarrassed about that. Like, you've got a lot of cool stuff happening and I've just like picked some carrots today and that's all that happened. My secrets have been exposed and I'm ashamed. Or I'm furious at you because.
Oh no. All right.
Yeah. And then there is so you write the letter if you need a prompt or whatever, you have things that you need to say. And then after you write the letter, you take an index card and you write your own prompt on it. And the other person must address that as part of their entry. So there's a couple of things. Okay. A political upheaval near one of the characters, personal tragedy, moving to a new home, which is really interesting. A new love or friendship begins. Someone close to both people has died. I think that one will be very hard.
Yeah.
To do. Although the connection is the spellcaster. So
they might still be kicking around.
Or maybe that is
your opener.
The beginning. Yeah. Is that somebody has died. Say the spellcaster has died. I feel very confident in our storytelling abilities to like have come up with our own prompts and things. But these are all really like base, visceral kind of things I think are very interesting that we can be incorporating in. Yeah. It's pretty wild. And then ending the game. It says when there are about 6 pages left, enough space for each player to write one final letter, which I think is really interesting. The idea that they assume that it's only going to be 3 pages of writing. What are you thinking about that? What is your idea of like how you tell this? Like, how long is your entry? I'm not going to like hold you to that, but like,
yeah, no. I think generally I'm pretty wordy.
What?
Shucks. But also I think a lot of it is going to just come down to like what is going on. And if I feel that I'm doing the game like a good service, I want to make sure that I'm playing the game how it's intended to be played and really investing in it. And so I think I'm not going to try and hit a word count or a page goal or anything like that. I think I'm just going to write as if I were writing, But I also think that I don't think I could start a prompt with like nothing happened and have that only be a paragraph long.
Yeah.
Like, I think if that's my prompt, if I'm opening with nothing happened, it's going to be sort of a rambling kind of internal monologue type of thing rather than like wasting my turn.
Yeah. Well, and you don't ever have to pick that prompt. Like that's not a thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I don't think there's going to be a time where I don't write a good chunk.
Sure. All right. So it it is saying that it will run out when the book runs out. But this is also a thing that I think if we are really rolling on the story and really loving the story that we're telling and we reach the end of this book, there's nothing to say we can't buy another book and find a narrative reason
to
have like, maybe I dig through the remainder of the magic users stuff and find another book, or you figure out a way on your end to like include a second book. Does it work if you just send the first book through? Like, like
Yeah.
to have that.
Well, I mean, if it's encouraging us to include things like movie stubs or whatever, in theory, you can slide extra sheets of paper whenever
Just keep
you
putting
need it.
stuff in
Just
there.
like keep jamming it into the book.
Go. Gonna definitely break this binding. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Um uh anyway, so I'm going to say when we choose to terminate the story, wherever that ends up being, the final exchange of letters must refer to seeing each other. And you don't include index cards with these last two letters.
Mm-hmm.
And answer some of these questions with your final entries. How do you feel about seeing each other? Are you looking forward to it? Are you considering not doing it? And where and when will you be when you meet? So like that's interesting. And
Yeah.
truly like the idea that we are much older characters having this kind of correspondence, building the relationship that way, like I feel like there would absolutely end up being like an urgency at the
Mm-hmm.
end of like, hey, I don't know how much I've got left. Like,
Yeah.
let's figure out how to do this kind of a thing. Or is that gonna ruin what we have built
Yeah.
because we're from such different worlds, and what will that do? And yeah, it's a really interesting idea. Anyway,
I like it.
um, and then there is a conclusion when it is full and the last letters have been written. You're supposed to have like a debrief,
Cool.
essentially.
I like that.
Also, one of the options they say, like, what are you going to do with the book? Do you want to keep it? Do you make a full photocopy so that you both have it? Do you want to destroy it? Do you want to remove your addresses and leave it somewhere for a stranger to find?
That's very cool.
Discuss what you'd like to do with the mementos and then do it. Um, yeah, that's very interesting. So like we have made this and we will
Yeah.
have records of it and then
Yeah.
just like
Just like leaving it somewhere. That's
go
great.
put it somewhere, see what
Yeah.
happens. I think that could be very interesting. It also could be very cool to like stash it somewhere at a convention
Mm.
for somebody to find. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it here, see what happens.
I like that.
Wild. Um, I think this is an excellent place for us to maybe take a quick bio break,
Okay.
and then we'll come back and do a little more chat about this game, and then we can do a little update about what's going on with our game.
We have one of those.
We have one of those, both an update and a game. All right. Everybody
Yeah,
go grab
sounds good.
something to drink and a snack, and we'll see you in a couple minutes. Welcome back from the break. Ba 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 ba. Beep beep beep. Oh, magic.
Magic. A witch.
I'm a witch. I have the here's our book.
Oh yeah, you haven't shown it yet.
Here it is.
That looks so nice.
It's gonna be good. It's got little moon and stars on the back.
How many pages do you think it is?
Oh, I don't know. This many.
Okay. So some
Some.
pages.
Maybe one for you?
What, one page?
What just one entry, I think.
One entry for me? Yeah.
For you.
I'll restrain myself.
You don't have to. Like I said, we can figure out a way if we
I
end up
might
filling more.
have to.
Well,
You don't want it to be one notebook per entry.
Here's the thing. The thing that is going to restrain you is the time limit.
Mm.
Because fair. I think, at least at the start, I have several like Seattle trips that I'm coming out to do stuff for my boss, Peter Atkinson. So like there will be a time limit of like, you have to give it back when I'm here next. So you won't have like months to fiddle and fill it. Like it'll be like, hey, I'm back in a couple weeks. So
well, and it's handwritten, so that's like an extra level of anxiety that I'll have to work through.
Well, okay.
Because I want it to look good.
Sure. And you can always determine what you are doing in a Word document, and then you can copy it over.
Yeah.
That would be good too, because then we don't have to transcribe it.
Oh, that's
after
true.
After the thing when we are adding it to our particular blog posts and everything. But yes, then you have to handwrite it in the book.
Yeah. Or print it out and put that in the book, and then you can be amazed at how printers work.
Do you think that a witch in a witchier version of Earth would choose not to handwrite in a magic notebook?
I do not. I think it would be all about the magic notebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you how to play the game.
Thank you.
I want you to choose what is correct for your character.
Yeah. We both know that is magic notebook. So
yeah, no, I know. Just letting
you put up a good front.
I'm letting you come to that conclusion on your own.
Stay with the bit. I'm going to stay with the bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyways, passport.
Yeah, I'm super jazzed about it. I think it's going to be great. I will write. I'm coming back out in early December, so I'm going to write the first entry as well as that little piece of paper that we have decided that I'm going to tuck in. I will give it to you, and then you will have. Oh no.
Like 10 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To do your first entry.
I'll start now.
Are you not going to be reacting to what I am writing?
I am. I need to figure out who this character is. I got a lot of workshopping to do.
A lot of stuff.
I get deep.
I got to know who I am.
I know who I am.
At the core of my being. All right. Start now then. After the stream. Start after the stream.
Fine.
Okay.
I've been taking notes though.
Good. Same. I could only find a red pen, so our notes are very aggressive. Very aggressive.
Yeah.
It's fine. Maybe I'll write in colored ink. I have so many colors of ink. I don't know that it's appropriate for my character yet. But Sarah has so many colors of ink.
It's true.
Oh man, it's gonna be nice. Okay. Yeah, so I guess we'll check back in about Passport in a couple of months, maybe.
Yeah, some amount of time.
Some amount of time. Hey, some amount of time. That's so specific. Very satisfying for people that are watching, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So why don't you catch me up as if I don't know about what is going on with The Crowned. We haven't chatted about it in a while.
Well,
on the show, at least.
We have not. And so, Sarah, since you don't know. The Crowned is a game where the players play gods that have control over a little slice of reality. You get to pick a thing that you are the god of, and that is your character. And it is a game that really centers player agency and character customization, and encourages creativity and imagination and cooperative storytelling with the people at your table and your storyteller. And that is a game that Sarah helped me make, even though she doesn't know it, but she did. And it is so close. We kickstarted it successfully. We are really close to even kind of starting to begin fulfillment, which is wild to me. Everything is written. Almost all of the art is done. We are like literally one piece of art away at this point from having all of our art. Layouts are already underway.
And that's even started. Like it's not like we're waiting on paint on that one. Like
yeah, exactly. I honestly think we will have all of the art in hand well before this airs, even. So layouts are underway, and then it's done. It's the process of I have to make an index.
Oof. We have to make an index. I'll help you with the index.
I mean, it's going to be fussy. So
of the two of us, you are far more fussy.
It's true. And I have a book on indexing that our editor gave us. Because she was like, I'm not going to do an index. That's a monstrous task.
I shall not.
But that's it. And then we send it to the printer. We're having it printed through Drive-Thru RPG. And so we will send it to them. They will send us a proof. We will check that proof over. If there are any changes that need to be made, and by changes, I mean, this is purely layout changes that would happen based on how the book printed, not me writing anymore or anything like that.
Yeah, because you're not allowed.
Because everyone on the team would kill me if I wrote anymore.
It's so true.
But then if the proofs are all good, then we just go to like regular print, And
right.
on the Kickstarter, we've got an April deadline for fulfillment, and I feel really good about that, assuming there's no like weird hangups at the printer or anything. That's the update. Almost done. I'm very excited.
It's so close. Yeah, tell me how you are feeling about it. I feel like every time I ask this question, and it's usually after like a big thing happened, like we finished the Kickstarter, or you've sent the last bits to the editor, or you've done I'm like, how do you feel? Like, are you excited? And you're like, and there's like this weird, just grunty noises that come out. And so I'm interested to know. This is like, you said you were excited, which is a thing that I haven't heard in a while. So I just like, let's talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, I am eager to move on to the next portion of this world of The Crown. Like there's a bunch of other projects that Sarah and I have, I guess, not talked about because Sarah doesn't know anything about
just
this.
An empty skull.
There are other supplements that we want to do. There are more books that we want to put out down the road, just things that would make the player's experience more enjoyable, things that couldn't fit into this original book. Like I have been writing and running games in this world for years now. So there's a lot of material, there's a lot of content, and it just wouldn't all fit into this one.
Yep.
And I'm excited to move on to the next thing that I get to write. And as far as like this book, all the times when I just haven't really felt excited about it, I think it's because there's always been just more work. It's not that I'm not excited about the project. It's that it's still in motion. Like there's still all things to be done, so I don't have a sense of completion for it yet. And I can finally kind of feel that on the horizon a little bit. And I think
right over there, just wait
right over there.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be when I'm actually holding like a physical copy of the book for the first time. I think that's going to be wild. This is the first game that I've done like this. I mean, I've been, gaming and writing for my entire life, just about. But I haven't done anything professionally like this, like, put my name on the cover of a thing and call it my game.
And like really claim ownership of it and be like, I did this thing. I did it.
Yeah. So I think once I'm holding that, I'll be pretty stoked.
Yeah. It's really close.
It is really close.
This is so close. Yeah. And this is maybe a thing that I am going to regret asking. But I know that one of the next things we're doing, because I'm actively working on it right now, is the Shining Garden travel guide, tourism guide.
Tourism guide.
We land on tourism guide.
Tourism guide.
We had talked about both at some point.
Yeah,
couldn't remember where we landed. But outside of that, because it seems like I am the one writing that, perhaps if you open your hands a little bit, what is the next thing? You mentioned both supplements and then potential for like more core books. Like, what is the next supplement that you would like to work on aside from those, which is a series of modules? And then what is the next core book that you want to work on?
I think the next supplement is going to expand the concept of having a familiar within the game and what the familiar can do. Yeah. That was a thing that we had talked about like in early developments, but like didn't want to like there are printing costs associated with the book. We can only make it so long. Yeah. And this way we can have supplements that are digital, very, very light work for me, for our editor, like, everything like that. And then they can be very inexpensive. So I think the first one that's going to come up is going to expand what familiars can do. We've already got a good chunk of it outlined. I've already written some of it. That's going to be next. I do have to say that like he started writing that before the first book was finished being written. And I was like, you gotta stop. Well, I gave the copy over to our editor, and then I was like, I have nothing to write right now. And so I just kept going. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So that's the supplement. And then core book wise, it's going to be down the road for sure. It's going to depend a lot on how well the supplements sell and how well the book sells and everything like that. Because a core book is a big undertaking. But the first book is localized within the Shining Garden, which is a massive mega city. It's out over the ocean, suspended above a little elevator shaft, keeps it up above the ocean. And it's the primary location for all of the gods that are in this game that you could be bonded to. It's where you'll be playing in. It's all the setting is written to the Shining Garden. Mm-hmm. And so I think the next book is going to open up the world, and there are 9 other holy cities that make up the full 10 where all of humanity lives. Mm-hmm. And the next book I think is going to expand that and maybe a little more. I don't know. We'll see how much space. Is it to is it to all of the cities, or is it one city? I think if it was only one city, that would probably just be a supplement. But I think if it's going to be another full book, I really want everyone to get their money's worth out of it. So we could do the other
the other nine. You do
I
like
think. Yeah.
20 pages on each one. That's almost 200 pages. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And then of course, like with all books, we'll have some more mechanics, some new wonders that you could pick up. Potentially some other, well, I'm not going to spoil too much.
Uh-oh.
There's fun stuff that I want to say, but I don't want to say
Yeah,
it.
There's a lot of stuff.
There's a lot in the world to expand into. And I'm really excited about it. All the players that I've had over the years have enjoyed it immensely. And this is really just the surface level of this book as far as like what the world has and contains. The Shining Garden is it's a very small portion of the world.
Yeah. Great. So hopefully, and I'm gonna say this, this past week, we sent an update to our Kickstarter backers. Now I have said it, and
so now we will write it.
Has to be true.
Yeah.
To let them know where we are at in the process. I think it's one of those things where I feel like there's a weird sense of time dilation because the closer that we get to being done, it feels like the further away that it gets. And I'm like,
yeah. I feel like we've gotten so much of just like the little finicky things done, like got an ISBN, we generated a barcode, so like it can be sold in retail shops and, brick and mortar places and things. So it's a bunch of little things like that just kept coming up along the way. That you don't expect when you sit down to like write out your game world and a bunch of new mechanics and things.
Yeah. There's a lot of it's a wild process to have to go back in and be like, okay, I did a thing now. And I guess if I'm going to have people pay me for it, I've got to have like a lot of weird things I did not think about.
Yeah. You have to register in a bunch of places. It's strange.
Yeah. But soon, hopefully, it will be in at least several friendly local game stores.
Yeah. Maybe all of them. Hopefully all of them. Every local game store.
Wow. I feel like we're going to be very busy if that is the case.
I would love to be very busy.
Okay. I don't think that's true at all. I feel like.
Well, I would love to be busy enough to then like pay people to be busy on my behalf.
Oh, wow.
That's the dream.
That's the so that you don't have to be busy. You can just like make other people be busy.
Yeah. I love getting to hire people. It's really great.
All right. So anything else that we want to chat about, either about The Crown or about Passport or about games in general? Any games that you have seen recently that you're jazzed to play?
Yeah. Yes. I know you just got to do Eat the Reich. I'm excited about that. That game looks pretty great. I'm also excited for the new Schwab book. It's the Shadow of the Weird Wizard. I don't remember if Shadow of is in the beginning of it or not. It's a sequel to Shadow of the Demon Lord, which is always kind of my go-to D&D adjacent fantasy game if I'm looking for that kind of an itch. And so that's a new one that kickstarted just a bit ago, which takes a bunch of the things that I really loved about the game and just kind of fine-tuned them. So I'm excited for that one too.
I did check. It is called Shadow of the Weird Wizard.
It is Shadow of. Okay. I wasn't sure if it was Shadow of or Tower of, but yeah, Shadow of the Weird Wizard. Gonna be cool.
I feel like Shadow of the Demon Lord, that's a lot of gross stuff in that. Yeah.
It's a lot of gross stuff. Yeah. Yeah. That was a particular thing that I did not really gravitate towards in that game. There's a lot of like you can have a spell that makes your opponent poop themselves to death. Not my thing,
Wow.
If that is what you want at your table, great, have that conversation. But the rest of the game, like the mechanics for Shadow of the Demon Lord, stupendous. like I really enjoy how character creation works and how advancement happens in that game. They do life paths instead of levels, so
Kind of
you
like
pick a
Burning
different thing,
Wheel.
and then kind of like how Burning Wheel does, except you go back to your previous life paths at certain levels because it's played over 10 levels.
Oh,
And so
interesting.
like your ancestry path, which is, are you a goblin or an elf or whatever, that triggers at levels like 1, 4, and 7 or something like that. And then your novice path triggers at 2, 5, and 8 kind of thing. And I thought that was very cool. It lets you piece together a very unique character because there's hundreds of choices.
Yeah.
So I like choice. I like a lot of choice in my games.
Yeah. Yeah. But then I also feel like choice paralysis becomes a thing too when there's too many choices and it becomes difficult.
I suffer from that also, but I also kind of love living in that space of just trying to figure out all of my potential options that I know I'm going to completely discard as soon as any game begins.
Great.
I know myself.
That's fair. So I have a couple of things coming up on the show. We're going to finish our badge quest arc. That is actually next week. We're finishing our badge quest arc. And then we are finishing our Eat the Reich arc, which is the following one, where our players, should they survive the onslaught, will be killing Hitler. Very excited about
Get
that.
it.
Yeah. Ready to do it.
Always a safe bet.
Oh, always. And then we will be firmly into December, which it will be all holiday themed games. And I'm very excited about it. I have enough of them that I'm kind of sorting through them to try to determine which 4 I get to do. Because I think I'm going to do 4 holiday themed one shots as opposed to like an arc of something. Grant Howitt has a couple of really good ones.
Decided yet?
So Grant Howitt has one that is called Last Christmas. And the premise is that you have to go back in time and stop yourself from killing the spirit of Christmas the previous year because you accidentally did it. So you have to go back and stop yourself. And I love that idea. And then he has another one that everybody plays a different version of Sean Bean. And you have to survive to Christmas.
It's amazing.
I understand how ridiculous they are, but I really love the idea of just having like full on like holiday fueled shenanigans and just like just to be weird with it. Like yeah. So that's my hope. I think he has another one. Hold on. I don't think I can do the description justice, so I have to look it up. Beep, 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 beep. Unless he has taken it down. Don't fail me. There we go. Okay. It is called We Three Kings. And it is Christmas Day, 0 AD. You are a trio of kings from lands afar, a swordsman, a necromancer, and a sorcerer. You're going to defeat the wicked King Herod and his forces with two-fisted magic, jumping off buildings and kicking people into giant snakes. You're going to save baby Jesus and, by extension, save every Christmas ever.
Good, too.
I mean, I just feel like let's have like a weird Grant Howitt Christmas, like let's get into it. Just gonna. And then I guess I'll need to find a 4th one, which could maybe just be a non-actual holiday themed one that I make holiday themed.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows? Or maybe the last one will be what I did last year, which is a cozy Christmas corner where I read like nerdy holiday stories to the audience. Might just do that too. We'll see. I'm in the process of like setting up a Christmas tree. It's pink. And maybe I'm also, I know you're so shocked, maybe also gonna try to get a disco ball that I can put a Santa hat on and hang it in the background.
It's perfect.
I just really love Christmas. It just makes me really happy. And it's already started here in my house.
Yeah.
We made it past my oldest's birthday. And now I understand that a lot of people think that Thanksgiving is the barrier before Christmas, but there is not one here. Once we've gotten past that birthday, then we can have Christmas until my birthday in January. That is the end. It's going to be so good. Damon's being very patient because he is not a Christmas person.
This is my Christmas cheer behind me on the wall. You can see it. There's some more over here.
Are you going to join in one of the Christmas shenanigan games?
Oh, I don't know. I like being on the show, but I got to tell you, I bring a lot of humbug energy to everything I do year round. So
that's true. But you also could jump off buildings and kick people into giant snakes.
That sounds pretty good.
Sounds pretty nice.
I don't have to be cheery to do that.
Certainly not. Yeah. So I don't know. What I'm saying is there's a lot of things happening here through the end of the year. I'm very excited about it. And I think there's going to be a lot of good gaming situations happening. Yay. All right. Hey, Damon, where can people find you and your game on the internet?
Okay. So for the game, you're going to want to check out formerlyferalgames.com. That is our website. It's got our socials up there. You can also find us on Blue Sky at Formerly Feral Games, all one word there. And on Instagram, the Crowned RPG. And then you can find me on some of those platforms as well, just under my name, Damon Vanhee. It's just me. I'm the only one. It's just me.
What's it like to be the only one with your name?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, there are in fact 2 Sarah Moores that live near me. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's not you.
Right. Yeah.
You're not one of them.
Yeah.
So I'm the only me.
Yeah.
And that's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like such a weird, like Sarah's, we are legion. There are a lot of us, just like everywhere. Good Bible name, that Sarah.
Do you ever have a convention like that? What was it? Kevin's? Was it the Kevins that got together for a water balloon fight or something?
I don't know. I bet there is one.
Yeah. SarahCon.
I bet. Just going to do a quick Google. See what happens. Oh, maybe there's not one.
Huh. Well, untapped market.
So many of us. Wild. All right. Anyway. I can't put together a SarahCon. I have too much going on.
Well, I'm sure another Sarah will do it.
Yeah, get out there. Go on that, Sarah.
Go on. Go, Sarah. Go.
Go, Sarah, go. I'm Sarah Moore. You can find me all over the internet at Pixies and Pins, or you can find me at my website, which is pixiesandpins.com. You can find me here on twitch.tv/GenConTV every Friday night at 5 p.m. Pacific on Sarah's Table. I already told you some of the previews of things that are coming up. Pew, pew, pew. Also finger guns. Yay. Yeah, so let's do some. Oh, you know what we didn't do is moments of gratitude, because today was kind of a weird game. Yeah. It was not really a game. So because it was fully session 0, I don't know that we have it, but let's visit that just in case. I, for one, am grateful that you always trust that I'm gonna do something weird and fun on my show, and that you continue to click the button to show up.
Yeah. Well, I have to. I have to click a thing, or we can't even record it. So
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
But you also click the link in your email with very little question. Just okay.
Yeah. Here we go.
Here I am.
Yeah. Well, and I guess on that same flip side, thanks. I know you spend a lot of time ensuring that your table is a comfortable and welcoming and safe place for people to be, and for people to game, and for people to be vulnerable at. And I think that is always really good and important at every table. And I think you set a very great example of what that is supposed to look like. So I am grateful for that. But I am more grateful for Stephanie Bryant or
Brant. I don't know
Brant?
which one.
Whichever one it isn't. I am grateful to her for constantly fielding all of these questions about Passport and not knowing anything about the game. She's probably going through a lot. I'm grateful for her existence.
Good job. Alternate dimension Stephanie.
Yeah.
Who's having to deal with all of the questions.
She's the real winner here.
She is the real winner. Yeah, we'll reach out. Let's reach out to both and just be like, hey, both of you answer this question. Don't tell me if you made the game.
Maybe they're sending letters back and forth.
That would be the wildest
thing. That is the best Passport to do. How did you all meet? Well, someone wrote a game about us meeting, and
then we did.
That'd be good.
I love that. Man, I love that a lot. That's great. Yeah. So let's keep that gratitude going. Thank you to the proper Stephanie and Tobias Strauss for writing this game. I am really excited to dive into it and see what happens. Thank you to my editor, who is also my partner, Jeff Moore, for putting this all together and making all of the pretty overlays and being my personal tech support, because computers are hard. We love you. Thank you to Marcus Mays, who is over at Gen Con TV, and he is our tech on that end for keeping us running smoothly. Thank you to Gen Con TV and to Peter Atkinson for trusting me to make this rainbow-filled shenanigan week after week. Thank you, Damon, for coming on the show. This is really nice.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you at home, everybody, for hanging out with us this evening. Really appreciate the fact that one of the reasons why I get to keep doing this is that you're here hanging out and having a good time with us. Like it a lot. And just a quick apology for making everybody cry last week by killing off Becca Godsey. She's fine. I promise. She's all good. Talk to her since. She's great. Yeah. And so I think that's it. If I have forgotten to thank you, it is an oversight on my part. And you are all very important to me. So just take a moment and know that I was thanking you specifically. So as always, keep making art and keep being art. We'll see you next time.